The following show and its content are the responsibility of the show's producers and participants.
Information related in this program is not meant to substitute medical recommendations. Before starting a treatment program, you should consult your physician.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
That's right. Welcome to Couch Live here on WPSN99.com, the problem-solving network. It's a beautiful Friday here in New Smyrna Beach, and I am the street-certified dope doctor here with you, along with my cast of friends. Of course, I have Trinity Phillips, the Dharma guy.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I got to show you, man. I got to show you for the people that are going to be watching this on YouTube. There you go, Trinity. There's your beautiful face on them.
I've never been referred to as that lately.
You've never heard the word beautiful face on you, or what?
Not lately.
It's because you cover it up with all that hair.
That's right, man.
And
I haven't heard it lately.
And
it's
tattoos.
Been a while. I'm old now, man.
Oh, we need to talk to Angel about that.
It is beautiful, though.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice of you, Robbie. And, of course, that's the Grasshopper, Robbie Barrett. How you doing, Robbie?
Good, Louie. Great to be here.
He's our intern, and sometimes he chooses to grace us with his presence, and sometimes he doesn't.
He showed up today.
Yeah. Well, he showed up on location, too, when we were with David Siegel and Jackie Siegel over there at Westgate. He came.
Absolutely.
You know, had some good friends over there. Was that the last show we did, Trinity?
It was. It was last week.
Oh, so we got to update everybody on that then. You want to tell everybody what happened over there at Westgate real quick?
We did a show.
Very good. Man of lots of words.
No, we did a show with, gosh, man, there's so many people. It was... well,
you know, It's Brett TV was there.
It was David and Jackie Siegel.
Right.
It was Brett from Brett TV, Mr. Sunday.
He's awesome.
And then we had...
We played his promo on your show for the first time.
We did, actually.
The other day.
We had Mrs. America, Renee Ruiz.
Right.
And then we had Mr. Pete Karate, who's running for commissioner.
Right.
And we were on location at Westgate Resorts. And the main thing was kind of today's going to be a continuation of that, I believe. But we were essentially talking about stigma, all things opiates. It was a 2-hour marathon show, man. So we covered a lot of topics.
More like 2 hours and 20 minutes. I had to cut all kinds of things, Robbie. Yeah. I had to go in there and go.
I ate your sausage while you were doing the show.
What? I don't know how, that sounds kind of weird.
Hey.
Wow, dude, you really take this intern thing seriously, aren't you?
You know, I know you're an intern and all, but I don't need you me tooing me anytime soon. So,
okay.
But I appreciate that, though. Yeah, my wife was there, too. So you and my wife both finished off massages while you were there at Westgate.
Was good. Yeah.
It was good, wasn't it?
I'm glad I'm not an intern.
It was cold, but it was still good.
It was cold. Hey, man.
It was cold sausage in your mouth.
It was free. Stop, Trinity. This is a young man, and you are going to get me too then. That's wrong. So, anyway... It was what do you call it? A Fred Stokes sausage, and for all of you that don't know who Fred Stokes was a Super Bowl champion with Washington Redskins, a friend of mine, and so I called him when I was on my way there, and I said, I'm going to go eat a Fred Stokes sausage. He says, I'll meet you there, and he showed up.
Yeah.
So it was cool that Fred Stokes showed up.
He's good people.
Yeah, and then, like you said, Brett, it's Brett TV, and of course, our resident billionaire, David Siegel, with the Queen of Versailles, Jackie Siegel, was there.
Yep.
So that was really cool. It was a really cool event. We were talking about stigma, and yes, Trinity, we're going to do another show on stigma because what that led to was obviously other people were posting things on stigma on social media. And Trinity, I'm going to give you credit for finding this person because I don't know where you did it, but you found her. And she did a post on stigma that interested you. You tagged us on it. We started looking at it. And let me tell you something. I started watching these videos. And Robbie, you watch them too, right?
Yeah.
And I found and I don't do this, man. I mean, usually I go do my thing, and I have to get off it, but I want to, be complimentary to the people that took the time out to like something of ours. I like something of theirs, do that whole thing. But the video I saw was so engaging.
Yes.
It was so funny. Now, here I was supposed to be reviewing stigma, Robbie. I was supposed to be looking into that.
Right.
But I hit the video one, And from that, next thing you know, I'm watching another video and another video and another video, and I just kept watching videos, man, because they were super funny. This person is talented.
Yeah, she's
Trinity.
hilarious. And that was the thing, right? Because when I first saw it, she posted something about Stigma,
Right.
and so I commented, I agreed, and then I was going to call it a day, and I was just going to move on and do whatever else I had to do. But
keep it moving.
Yeah, she responded very quickly and responded like, thank you or something along those lines.
Right.
And then we kind of just, I think I mentioned something about, oh man, maybe maybe we can get you on the show one day.
Right.
It's kind of just a one-off, like maybe, who knows. And she responded back to that, and so I started, okay, well, let's look further into it. And then I started looking at some of her videos, and same thing, dude. I just kept watching them.
Yeah.
And I scrolled all the way back, and they're absolutely hilarious videos.
Yeah, if we were a show on comedy or just regular show, I would have her on.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But being the fact that now this is she's in recovery, is that what? Well, we'll ask her.
Well,
this.
let her
We'll
tell her
ask her.
story.
This. But anyway, but being someone who's also a champion of all things breaking up stigma, all things. Hey, let's push the recovery. I guess forward.
Sure.
During a time of crisis and everything, and hopefully not just for time of crisis, but a person that probably has a good special story about themselves as well. I was like, man, this is like a twofer. This is a win-win.
Absolutely.
So we moved very quickly and scratched what we were going to talk about today, and next thing you know, now she's on. Now she's going to be on with us today. What's her name anyway, Trinity?
Her name is Jessica Landon.
That's right. So if you're on Instagram, it's Jessica Landon 12. That's the @ Jessica Landon 12. And Robbie, the funny thing is, Robbie knows her from another. Where do you know her from?
Where'd you
Robbie?
know her from?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to watch this Nickelodeon show called Drake and Josh.
Uh-huh.
And I remember her playing this character who had like syrup all over her fingers, and she put syrup on her popcorn, which is like.
Wait a minute, my kids watch that
Hey,
show. I think
syrup
I
on
know
your
exactly what
popcorn
you're
is
talking
awesome.
about.
Yeah.
Wait, sure. No,
Syrup on your
don't
popcorn.
sidetrack me.
So
Syrup on the
yeah,
popcorn.
but I was in like 5th through 8th grade when I just loved that show. So
I've never seen the
My
show.
kids watched that show when they were growing up, Drake and
it's
Josh.
So funny.
So my kids would know who she is then.
Yeah, definitely that character.
All right.
Wow.
I like
But you don't remember the character's name. Come on, Robbie. You're an A student.
right?
Oh man.
You're at Rollins College, man.
I can find it for you.
You
Oh, you
are.
cheated.
You are.
He's
Yeah,
cheating.
yeah.
He's
You're
looking it
cheating.
up.
I'm asking your
You
memory,
can't Google it now.
dude. You're like a medical student. You're like genius level, and you don't remember.
Well, I remembered it earlier, but now that I'm on the spot, it's just like
We don't have an intern.
Yeah.
You're out of the
Yeah.
family.
Failure.
You're a disappointment.
Failure's not an option, Robbie.
stop.
You're
No. Wait. Let me get zened out a little bit because the Dharma guy is here.
That's right.
So let me Dharma time it for a second. It's okay, Robbie. Failure is just part of the deal.
Thank you.
You're going to swing once and you're going to miss, but you know what? That just means the next hit is coming very soon.
You only fail when you stop.
Exactly. The only failure is to not do it again.
Well, her name was Colette.
You cheated, Robbie.
You did
Yeah,
cheat.
I did.
Cheating is a part of life, unfortunately.
But is using the internet really cheating?
No, that's why I said it. No. No, my kids do tests now with open book, open internet,
Right.
I mean, I don't even understand their tests anymore. Everything's like online anyway. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked.
Kyle's watching, man. What's up, brother?
What's up, Kyle? How you doing, brother? I like Kyle a lot. Didn't he have a birthday?
I think so. I think we
Kyle,
all
did
like
you
Kyle.
just have a birthday or something? Or do you have a birthday coming up? Or did you just have one? Or what was it?
At some point in the next 365 days, there will be a birthday.
All right, smart aleck. You know, man, if it wasn't for Facebook, I wouldn't know anybody's birthdays and stuff like that. I was expecting Mark Zuckerberg, real quick, and then we'll get back into it. I was expecting Mark Zuckerberg the other day to start pointing at all these politicians and start saying, by the way, happy anniversary to your daughter.
Right.
Yeah,
She's
right.
very beautiful. You, it looks like you had a great trip to Aruba. And, oh, by the way, I'm very sorry you lost your dog the other day.
Yeah.
Give my regards to Sparky. Because, he knows all that personal stuff about everybody.
He has access to all of it. Although I think that.
And that is my news feed, by the way. That is my news feed. Right?
I don't think
Exactly.
it would have gone well though, if he would have just started calling them all out.
They were a bunch of get off my lawn kind of guys.
Oh,
that,
gosh.
Some of them. Some
One
of
guy
them.
was saying like, you're texting using the WhatsApp, which is a phone call.
Yeah, I heard that.
Like,
I think
the
he
other
impressed the
guy's
hell out of him, though.
all about chocolate.
I think he really impressed the hell out of him. Some of them were like very complimentary. So think, you know what it is? Because they know that he knows some of their stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it was like them
He knows
talking to the
all-
CIA.
all of their stuff.
By the way, Mr. Zuckerberg, I want to thank you very much for coming here. I appreciate you being here. You're a very intelligent man. And I'm thinking, you're scared of this kid.
Well, the other thing that I thought was interesting that you kind of forget sometimes, or I do. Watching him being interviewed, he looks like this little kid up there, kind of just brainiac.
Like ready to cry.
He's
He
worth
looks like-
$70 billion.
He's a world power.
That's ridiculous,
He
man.
started the company in his dorm room.
Yeah.
He's a world power.
He's
They
worth
called him a world power.
$70 billion. Him, not his company.
He's
Him.
he's the fifth richest man in the world.
Yeah, that's insane to me.
I like when they were talking about, did you do Face Smash? He goes, yeah, when I was a sophomore in college. It was
Right.
it was a gag.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with Facebook. But it was funny because I'm thinking, a sophomore in college, and this kid did something that Congress is talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, sidetrack. Anyway, back to Jessica Landon.
Squirrel.
Yeah, she's hilarious. She has a personal story. Can we just get her on like now? Do we have to wait? I mean, I know.
I told her 12:30. Well, 9:30.
Which is 9:30.
Her time.
So you think right now she's still getting the sleep out of her eye or something?
Who knows?
Is she awake?
Well,
You think she's in the shower?
We're known for putting people on the spot, so why not just hit her up 10 minutes early?
Right. Does she even know that I'm calling from my phone? Does she even know my
Yes,
phone? Okay.
she does. And I have a sneaky suspicion this is going to be an easy interview, so I think we could take up 45 minutes with this.
Yeah, she's probably got a lot to say.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
The only thing is, I wish she was actually here because she is hilarious.
She is.
I mean, like even like the way she does her faces, like I can't get over the one where, because you're so pretty. I was thinking about this. I called him pretty already, so I'm just gonna go with that, Robbie.
No, you called him beautiful.
Beautiful. I call him beautiful. That's what I did.
Right.
But like when she's
I'm
in the
not gonna
car
eat
with
your
that guy,
sausage. I'm not eating your sauce. I just want to put that out there.
Well, you already did. That's how you got to the point of co-host. Anyway, by the way, we got when she's in the car with that guy. And she's like in all of them, like he's real good looking. She's like, the faces she's making on that.
Did you see the I like the online dating one.
God, let's stop talking about her and let's get her on.
Let's do it.
Let's just get her on. All right, let me see. All right, what I got to find the number. You
gosh.
guys, they watch.
It's in your
there's a
text
camera
message.
behind me though, so I got to make sure that they don't.
Get the phone number there.
Yeah, they're gonna be like creepers or something. I don't want to be a creeper. Turn this up. There it is. Let's see if Jessica Landon is available now.
Hello?
Hello, is this Jessica Landon?
This sure is.
How you doing, Jessica? It's Louis Delgado, the dope doctor. Of course, you've already spoke to Trinity, Phillips, the Dharma guy, and we have the Grasshopper, Robbie Barrett, our intern here with us. You're on the couch live right now. How you doing?
What's up, guys? I feel like I'm there. I just saw some videos, and I'm like, yes, I'm so glad I watched these. I feel like I'm in the room now.
Oh, perfect.
There you
Well, we feel like we know you now because we've been like going through all. Yeah. It
We've
feels
been
like we're
stalking
stalking.
pages.
Is this stalking me?
Yeah, if I accidentally liked anything I shouldn't like too far away, it's because I kept on going for more videos.
Well, ditto. I kind of insta-stalked you as well.
All right, cool. That's fine. But let me tell you something. First of all, before we get into the serious stuff at all, I just want to, I really want to say this. You're a very, very talented person. And I'm not saying that to kiss your ass or anything. I'm saying that because very few times, I think, in my lifetime have I watched something and had to keep watching more of it where I didn't know anything about the person in the beginning. Nobody hyped you up to me. Nobody, I didn't hear about it other than Trinity showing me a picture of showing me a post or tagging me in a post that says she's talking about stigma. So my mind wasn't even in the realm of I'm going to sit down now and watch, and I'm going to go blast through like 30 minutes of entertainment.
Yeah, same here.
Wow.
And I just went from one video to another. Your talent is so friggin' good.
Dude, man, thank you so much. You have no idea what that means to me. I really appreciate that.
No, I have to let you know because there's so many haters out there that don't give people credit when they're very talented, and you are super talented.
The thing I like about it though was it's hard to make me laugh these days.
Yeah.
Because I got a lot on the plate and everything else. I was laughing out loud at quite a few of them.
Yeah.
My wife was looking at me like, "What are you watching?" And then she started laughing out loud.
Yeah, my wife's looking at me like, "Are you looking at a young girl's videos?" And I'm like, yeah, she's young, but not that young. I'm not like a bad guy here. Don't make me feel like a creep here.
See, thankfully, mine started watching and started laughing too, so I was good.
Well, see, mine was doing some housework there, Trinity. So, catch up on something, brother.
Wow, dude, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that. Humor is so important to me because I just feel like today we underestimate the power, the healing power, especially of laughter, genuine gut, like deep belly laughing. Just what it does to the neurochemistry alone is so unbelievable. We should be all focusing on that with the epidemic of addiction, depression, anxiety. Laughter is huge. It's so important, and it's such a release, and it can diffuse anger and increase forgiveness, and it's just like endorphins that you get from it. So I'm a huge fan of laughter, and humor is so important to me.
And I'm glad you're saying that because let me tell you something. I started this show back in 1999. and I'm just a joker by nature. So there would be jokes in between, you get serious and then you laugh and then you get serious and you laugh, and we suffer all emotion. We go through all emotion, and people, there's some big book Nazis out there that knew I'm in recovery. I got 29 years of recovery, by the way. So they'd be like, well, how can you even laugh about that? People are dying, or this is not laughing matter. There's nothing to joke about in this subject. And I'd be like, are you kidding me?
We have to laugh.
Are you kidding me?
That's ridiculous.
And it used to bother me so much. So I vowed my mission. I am never, and I hoped at that time I hoped that I would never become that guy in recovery, that I would take myself so serious, that I would take this recovery so serious, that I would take this whole mission so serious that I would not laugh. And I didn't want to be that get off my lawn kind of guy to the next kid.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's not attractive.
Yes.
No.
Addiction is so tragic and can be so dark that we have to be able to, you go to recovery meetings, people are telling these tragic stories, but they're hysterical.
Right.
Because we don't see ourselves in the head.
Yeah.
If we didn't laugh about it. We have to be able to laugh.
That's it. And I tell people that now when I'm on stage, I said, if I didn't laugh sometimes, literally, I would not be in this business.
Yeah.
There was no way I could help more people. I would not be able to listen to another story. I said, there's so much tragedy in our lives, and we listen to so much tragedy when you're helping others, that if we didn't laugh sometimes and didn't take...
It's a survival mechanism.
Absolutely.
It's a defense mechanism. It's a stress relief. It's like, oh, okay, that there's still humor. We're still alive, and we can laugh about it. It's a skill. I think it's huge. It's great that you have a sense of humor and that you can, laugh at yourself and laugh at just the life is crazy, you know, and these things are very real. It's a heavy, weighty situation.
Well, especially for us, man, right? Because nobody calls us for good reasons, right?
Yeah. My phone doesn't ring for some happy story.
They call us
typically
because they're in trouble. So.
Right.
Unless it's hey, thank you very much. I just wanted you to know that
those
I'm doing well.
Ones.
And I love those calls too.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
Like I got a call yesterday. I actually was dealing with something real bad yesterday. Back in your neck of the woods. You're in California, right?
Yeah.
I got a guy. Yeah, we got a guy stranded out there right now, man. I wish you can go yank him out of wherever he's at and send him back home over here to Florida.
Way.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna get into it too much. But he's in a bad way, and he's out there somewhere. You know what Tito Larriva sang once that inspired me to leave California? He said, hanging out in California. Sometimes you just hang out and you're not really doing anything. You're just hanging out. Well, this guy, he just spent his first day there and he's like hanging out and he needs to leave like now.
Wow.
He needs to get back on that plane and get back here to Florida.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, so those stories. Yeah. Oh, so tell us a little bit about, Jessica. Tell us a little bit about Jessica.
Well, let's see. So January 3rd, 2014 is my sobriety date. So I have 4 years, a little over 4 years.
Wow.
The last year, for 6 years, I was just relapsing pretty rapid succession, chronically, in and out of treatment, in and out of psych wards, because my BAC would, I'd be on the streets and get down to, because when I would drink, I would not eat. So I'd get down to 80 pounds and just be stealing vodka from every grocery store, in and out of jail, in and out of psych wards. My BAC would get so high that they would think I was trying to drink myself to death. So I would get put on a 72-hour hold. And so that just went on for 6 years. And then the last year when I went out, the most I was ever able to get was a few months. Because I lacked in the spiritual. I never explored the spiritual aspect of things. I was very void. I was very bankrupt spiritually. And I didn't know I was kind of atheist a little bit.
Right.
And I knew, that definitely was keeping me relapsing. And and then I ended up going out in 2013. I fell over the railing. I got down to 78 pounds, fell over the railing, had a hemorrhagic stroke.
Wow.
Over this staircase, and I was paralyzed on my left side. Had to have brain surgery, had to have emergency brain surgery. It was like a hematoma in the center of my brain about the size of an oblong baseball. And they told my parents, she may not recover. She's probably not going to have the same personality or the same sense of humor. She'll be different. Just don't expect her to be the same person if she does survive the surgery. So my parents were freaking out, and miraculously they did the surgery. They drained the bleed. I recovered. My strength came back. The side of my face that was drooping came back. I was testing above average of someone that hadn't even had a head injury, so it was like a miraculous recovery. And 2 months later, I came back to LA and did it all over, and it was way worse.
Wow.
Whoa.
Homeless for months, went to jail for one, ended up back in the hospital, and all my organs were failing. I hadn't moved from one spot of this like street musician, like ex-veterans place who's just bringing me back alcohol, and I laid there for a month drinking myself to death. The acid from my urine, I was urinating and defecating on myself. It was eating holes in the sides of my tailbone and my hips, and it caused a blood staph infection, started shutting down all my organs. Spent a month in Brotman, and had to have 2 blood transfusions, and I just slowly recovered. And I begged I had been to 9 treatment centers, and that wasn't, so I begged my parents to go back to Napa with them and stay close with them, because I had never been that close to death, and I think I was just really fearful. I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust, I had booked it from so many like rehabs and hospitals that I just needed to be near family. I was so scared, and so that was my bottom. That was the lowest it got, and there was a paradigm shift. There was a switch in perception. It's like the light bulb went off. It was like, okay, when people ask you, like, do you want that $1 million question? Do you want to be sober? The honest answer was, even after going that low, of course not. If I could drink and function, I would. I want to stay drunk. I want to stay drinking. It's my survival tool. It's how I've been able to live in this world. But more of me wants to live. I want to live more than I want to drink now. Even if it's just 51%, I want to live. So I was desperate enough to stay alive, to do whatever I had to do, excavate all the emotional, stuff I had going on, that it was suppressed. I was drinking to kill, all that stuff, and go get into the program and dive in and do the steps and help others and share my story and connect and laugh. And laughing saved my life, and felt like a 13-year-old again. So it was a transformational first year.
It sounds like a very, that's 1 year?
Wow.
Wait, did all that happen in 1 year too? I mean, I know what you meant, the first year sober, but I mean, how long did all that happen into? All that stuff that you talked about?
The stroke, and then that was my last year of relapsing and drinking really bad and being on and off the streets. That was the last year, and then the first year of recovery. So those 2 years, I guess, were like, whoa. So,
and how old were you when all this was happening?
Let's see. My stroke, I turned 31 in the hospital, and then 32. I was still 31 when I went back to Napa in 2014, and then so now I'm 35.
Wow. I didn't.
So, and I think it was around 25, 26 when I morphed into a 24-hour a day vodka drinker.
Now, is this a genetic thing in your family that alcohol is so powerful?
Well,
are there genetic factors going on as well?
That's another $1 million question. I mean, it's multifactorial for real. I mean, as you guys know, there's so many factors and layers to addiction. It's environmental, it's circumstantial, can contribute. It's, upbringing, genetic factors. I mean, I think I had a recipe for disaster. There were so many
You had them all.
things. Yeah, I had it all going.
Right. Wow. Yeah, me too. I think that's how I got it. It was more, but the genetic with the alcohol didn't kick in, so I had to get into drugs because alcohol just wouldn't. I mean, as much as I wanted to drink, it just, I just couldn't drink like that. I'd throw up and then it never looked good again.
Oh, so that's when you realize, okay, I got to go switch to something else to get the job done?
Yeah, like real young, like 11. I knew I had to do drugs instead of drinking. I mean, I tried to drink heavily, but I just couldn't do the drinking heavily, so I had to go to drugs.
It's so interesting how every body's different. I always looked at like drug addicts, like what? There's nothing better than alcohol. Why would you even try something else? But,
oh, Jesus. Yeah.
I just want to say I am so. I give you guys accolades for doing what you do, because this is what's going to create change. This is what's going to eradicate stigma.
Right.
Doing what you guys are doing, going on air, being out there in the public, talking about it, having these profound conversations for other people to listen to. This is what is going to create change. So I just want to give you guys kudos for doing what you do.
Appreciate that.
Well,
thank you.
And thank you for sharing your story, because you hear in the rooms all the times about like powerful stories that help other people. But something like yours with so many medical consequences is just like, how could you even think disease or the addiction's not a disease if like these many things could happen and still the urge to use was stronger? Like it's.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's funny how people think when they think alcoholic or drug addict or drug abuser, they think partier. They think, oh, they're just selfish. They're out there just partying and getting numb. There was nothing fun about my addiction.
Oh, no.
It was literally hell on earth. I couldn't live with it, and I couldn't come off it. I couldn't live without it. It was hell on earth.
Yeah, you were like totally unrecognizable in that picture that we used for, after the surgery. It was like, oh my God, I would never have recognized you.
Well,
I know. I mean, it's pretty funny. I have friends in the program that would find me like in liquor stores or run into me at the grocery store while I'm like stealing a bottle of vodka and taking it into the bathroom. And they were like, it took me like a couple minutes. I knew you, but I was like, oh my gosh.
Right.
And it was just, and then I would always buck out break my front left tooth on a vodka bottle. So I just looked like Chucky. My friend, I had the nickname in the program Chucky because I would look like the doll Chucky.
Oh my God.
Well, the thing that I like the most about just everything we heard, essentially, as someone who isn't in recovery but works in this field,
right?
The thing that I think is it goes a long way for the stigma, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because people hear all the time with the stigma, people going in rehab dozens of times. Oh, you got to want it, and all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
And here's somebody, I think she said 9 times, suffered all these medical consequences, but now look. All these years sober now, doing her thing, very successful in what she does, funny, got a great life in front of her. So it's proof that it works.
There's life after.
Absolutely.
That recovery is possible.
It proves that there's hope. You don't ever give up on that person.
Yeah.
No matter how severe the case is, man, no matter how severe. I mean, people did start looking at me with that look, that look of just like, ooh, I don't know about her, man. She's not going to make like that. You just know the hopelessness in their eyes is so evident.
Right.
But there were people that just held on hope. They just never stopped rooting for me and loving me.
Awesome.
And that's what I want to do for other people that are just as bad,
Isn't that what Darryl Strawberry's title of his book is? Never Give Up on Me?
I think so. I had that to pull
Yeah.
out.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Darryl Strawberry, a good friend of ours. I'm sure you've heard of him, even though you're kind of young. But yeah, he was out there. He was played for the Dodgers a while. But his latest book, I think, is Never Give Up on Me.
Oh my gosh, I gotta get it.
As a matter of fact, here's the funny thing. So we had this event at Top Golf right before our golf tournament, and he came out and joined us, and we're all just hanging out. And there's another guy I know that's there that has another treatment center, and Darryl comes up to me and goes, "Is that blankety blank?" And I said, "Yes, it is." He goes, "That guy told me I was never gonna make it. He said I was gonna die." And I thought I never saw Darryl so.
Yeah, he was
for a split second. There was a little frustration. I could have swore if he wasn't as in his faith as he is,
right,
I think he would have went and kind of like popped the dude a little bit or something.
Yeah, I never seen him like that before. He was very. He was much different than you could tell. It bothered him.
He was on edge until he went, and I said, "You got to go talk to him. You just got to like let him know what you feel. Just tell him that, hey, look at me." And so he did that, and they had a very good conversation. But it is that thing, Jessica, that, it's like you never know who it's going to be that's going to make it. And it doesn't matter whether and I hear it all the time, they go, oh, he's already been at rehab 3 times, so I'm not really expecting much out of this one. I'm thinking, I don't care if they go 50 times.
Exactly.
You just keep going.
Yep.
Because you never know when it's going to hit. You don't know when the miracle is going to happen. You don't know when they're going to hear the same thing they probably heard 50 other times or 500 other times. But for some reason, that roulette ball just falls in that roulette hole at that moment, and the opportunity opens up, and there it goes.
Exactly. And every time you go out and you experience what you experience, it's a profound, there's some revelation, there's something new you learn, whether even if it's just like for a while when I was homeless, I just realized how inherently good human beings are. I mean, perfect stranger, total strangers, were more empathetic and scrambling to help me than anyone I knew. Everyone backed off, but man, strangers were doing everything they could to help get me to safety or call my mom or get me into treatment. It's incredible the things you learn when you get really, really low.
That's true.
About humanity and hope and just
the
profundity.
And every time you come back, you can relate to more. When you come back, all of a sudden, what you didn't relate to last time, all those yets start coming true, and you're like, damn, now exactly what you said would happen actually did happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
and
let's
a
get
deeper appreciation. Go
Absolutely.
ahead.
Let's get into the words because that kind of struck me.
I've got mixed emotions on this one.
Oh, you have mixed emotions?
I do,
We put
actually.
out a poll. What did the poll say, by the way?
The poll.
So what did the poll read, first of all? Trinity, set it up for us.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Well, we put two different polls. We put one on Instagram and one on Facebook.
Right.
I had to word them slightly different because the way they're set up, I guess. But essentially, they were both saying the same thing and asking
Let's see what mine
if
said.
words and labels contribute to the stigma of addiction. Yes or no? That was essentially the question. Because there are a lot of labels attached to it. Junkie, addict, all these other things, and we were trying to figure out if the terminology that they use affects the stigma or not. Because the whole Faces and Voices recovery, they're doing the whole instead of calling themselves an addict, saying I'm in long-term recovery. They're verbally talking about themselves differently. And I guess I'll go ahead and give my own kind of. Well,
first of all, what did the poll come out with? What did the poll end up saying?
They came out, yes. They felt that it did.
They came out at what percentage?
Last I saw it was 70%. Yes.
Okay, so it was still a higher
Yes,
percentage.
that word.
The words and labels did affect the stigma of addiction.
And the one I put up, which is the same question, but I just put it on a different page, 100% said yes.
Yeah.
And I have a different answer. Well, I mean, I have a spin on it. I do agree that yes. I probably would have answered yes as well, but I have to qualify it too. But I have to qualify it. With most things, there's no black and white here. Plus, I don't really care. If I walk around feeling about, I'd give my point in a second. I'm not even going to give my point away. I want to hear yours first, Trinity.
I think my point is going to echo a little bit what Jessica's was on her page.
Okay.
Like, I have mixed feelings. On one hand, I feel that the words, because they do have a stigma, there's certain beliefs attached to certain words.
Right.
And so somebody who's not in the industry or somebody who doesn't participate in this world very often,
right,
when they hear certain words, it creates an image. And then that image is what's going to follow how you treat that individual, essentially. You just put those two things together automatically.
Right.
However, I think that there's not enough people out there perpetuating the good stuff to change it. So it's not really the word, it's what they associate with it.
Right.
So if we could start associating different things with that word, then the stigma would probably change.
Right.
And so that's where I'm kind of mixed. It's kind of like, causation versus correlation, essentially. And so I think that there is something to be said, though, where we're at currently with changing some of the vernacular, changing some of the wording now, and then maybe using them later on once some of the stigma starts to die away. In other words,
you want us to put some words away for a while?
I think that.
Like what words? Like junkie? Put junkie away for a while and then bring it back?
Yeah,
let's make junkie hot again? Let's make junkie cool again?
Yeah. Well, you know what it is, though? Like, I can speak for myself because I'm not in recovery, but I've been in this field for so long and I know so many people.
Right.
There are certain words I hear now that I cringe that I didn't used to cringe.
Like what?
Like crackhead, for instance.
Crackhead.
I hear the word crackhead. I instantly
like chicken
cringe.
head?
Yeah, well, because,
look at that. You didn't even respond to that one. Like, you never heard that? That's offensive. You call somebody a chicken head.
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
But I know that, like, I even used to use the word crackhead years ago. Like, 10 years ago, I used to use that word. But now that I've counseled some of them, I'm like, I don't really use that word anymore. Like, it bothers me more than it used to.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
And when I hear people say it, it bothers me. Even when I hear the word junkie, it's like, hold up, bro. Like, that's a human there.
Okay.
It's not just a label.
All right.
And so I think that there is something to it, but like you said, it's a gray area. I guess.
Pause there for a second. Grasshopper, our intern, Robbie.
I was just thinking of some other phrases that have a stigma attached to them, and one of them that I'm looking at right now is just the term mental illness. When you think mental illness, you think someone has something inherently wrong with them. So something benign as that, I think, can be powerful.
So, like, you're making a face that, because we're on radio, they can't see your face here.
Right.
You're making a face like you're kind of disgusted by the word mental illness. Does that go with what you're saying?
No, I'm not disgusted by it. I mean, I would consider myself someone that has like had struggles with mental illness, but I don't think it necessarily has to be a bad thing. I think it's the light that we look at the words in rather than the actual words.
Are there any words that you're bothered by?
I mean, I guess junkie or pillhead or something like that, but
okay. All right, Jessica, what do you say to some of this? Now, the people that didn't read your post, like Trinity referenced it, but he didn't say what you said. Can you kind of give your opinion on this?
Well, like he said, I do vacillate because I've read a few articles that made really good, valid points where I was like, okay, I'm with you on this. Kind of like, by creating words and like terms that separate separate, because let's face it, America, we have this overconsumption, this cultural overconsumption of alcohol. And it's all insane, because no human body is designed to tolerate ethanol with ease. So by separating and creating this, oh, well, you're an alcoholic and I'm not because you did that behavior, and it's almost justifying, gives justification and keeps people away. But the reality is, not everybody reacts like I am a gnarly alcohol. You give me one drop, I'm off and you have to take me to the hospital in 2 hours. And I like being able to say, I want a word that is scary. Another point she had is it puts people in fear-based thinking, and it makes them like kind of fear alcoholic addict, like they fear it. But I like that, because if I go to a birthday party at a bar and some guy's pressuring me to drink, trying to order me a drink, I'm like, dude, I am a gnarly effing alcoholic. You better be ready to take me to the hospital in 2 hours. Just back the F up. I want something that's going to provoke, really invoke fear right in that moment, so they shut the F up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
go ahead.
I like being able to identify with a term that can scare people, but I do vacillate, because there are, it also suggests the problem lives on the extreme end of this spectrum, and that's actually not where the majority of problem drinking is. 90% of problem drinkers are not actually addicted. 9 out of 10 people who struggle with alcohol are not clinically dependent. So it would help if we can actually treat, instead of by saying alcoholic addict, it's like, hey, now the problem's already there. Why don't there needs to be something where it can be more preventable. There's we can talk about alcoholism in more of a larger, broader term. Does that make sense?
No, I completely understand. Go ahead. Keep going on that point, though, because I think that's an important point you're making.
Yeah, because we're hitting it when the problem's too late. We send people to treatment when they're already an alcoholic, whereas we need to start educating. We need to go into colleges where partying is like the theme, and talk about how this is progressive. And if you binge drink, it can, whatever the percentage is of it turning into being chemically dependent, and what hell that is. Educating the public is so important. But also, I just don't think we should adjust our vernacular for the portion of people that are still ignorant about addiction. I mean, It's an epidemic right now. Whether you call it addict, junkie, crackhead, whatever, it's petty semantics at the end of the day to me, because the people that are uninformed about this just need to get with it.
Yeah, I could see a lot of me relating with what you're saying. I'm gonna start off with this part. First of all, what's cool is the Couch Live. We actually do go on college campuses, and so if you're part of a college out there and you want us to come on a college campus and do a show like this and bring some cool guests out with us, or have some guests that are in your city already, it does bring awareness to this, and it does talk about it in a way that's not so boring and not so I don't know, they're not listening when you're boring and all you give is numbers, by the way, because every time we go to a university, they want to spout off all kinds of percentages and numbers and mathematical equation. All right, this many people do this, and that's a government way of speaking, and I get it.
We did a game show,
but let's do it in a game show format, so it's a little bit more fun, because the other way you do it is just boring and who cares, and we stop here.
Exactly.
But anyway, back to the point of the words. When I was early in my recovery, the words bothered me a hell of a lot more than now. And I'm going to explain. Because whether they intended... this guy just has to want to call me right now, right?
Right.
Hey, man. I'm sorry. I'm getting a phone call on the same phone that I'm using. How do I...
Send a voicemail.
Send a voicemail. There you go. Thank you very much for teaching me how to use
Grandpa.
that. Yeah, get off my lawn. I am 48 years old. He's up there, Sparky. Trust. You need to respect your elders there, Trinity.
I'm bigger than you, though.
Yeah, that's true, but I'm older, and you should respect that. I should be allowed to be smaller. Anyway, and dumber. But anyway, so words bothered me a hell of a lot more when I was younger. For instance, when I was in L.A., and when I was first getting sober, the words at the time, and we're talking about in the late 80s, when the word spick meant a hell of a lot to me. I'm a Mexican, by the way. I'm Mexican Puerto Rican. So when they would say spick or wetback, which was very common words back then, to kind of tell me that they don't like me, or that they have an issue with me, or they're thinking different of me. And there was so much baggage in my head at the time, and so much hate in my head at the time. Those were fighting words, you know. So of course the other words like junkie or whatever, addict, like that, I didn't want to identify myself as an addict, because what my definition of an addict and the visual I had of an addict or an alcoholic,
homeless.
Yeah, it was very different than who I was. I had money in my pocket.
Right.
I still had my family. I still had a lot of things.
Right.
So if I would have waited till my visual of what an addict was like to quit, I might not have made it. You know what I mean? I had
Right.
you know, I was a higher bottom person. So it made it very difficult to appreciate those words, and I always wanted to fight about those words. Now, in my recovery,
Interesting.
what I found out was that it all stemmed way back when my parents used the word stupid a lot. My brother used the word stupid a lot. Trinity has something to say. Trinity, it's my turn, man. Hold your nose.
I didn't say anything. I was doing the
I thought you were doing the Darien with your finger on your nose. I got you. But so my parents used the word stupid a lot. My dad always goes, "You stupid idiot. You effing this and effing that." You know, but that's just the way he was a loving guy, but his way to hit you was through those words. Well, the way I took them, I was very word conscious and very sensitive, and it bothered me greatly that he would use these words. So what I found out is I kind of carried it on. Well,
Interesting.
in time, as I got healthier, I learned
Right.
I'm giving way too much power to other people. I don't want to give any power to anybody else. That's kind of why I got into drugs, why I got into drug dealing, why I got into drug trafficking, why I got into violence, why I got into at-risky behavior. It was a sense of control that I didn't feel like I had before using, and therefore that's why I became very attracted to kind of grab control. And by the time it took over me and took control from me, it was hard for me now to say, what, I'm out of control? I'm not in control of this? I feel like I want this, and that's why I'm doing it. It's just that sometimes bad shit happens, is what I thought.
Right.
So then when I got better, I realized I have to stop letting other people control me. So words, I worked on that. You know, like bad no longer means bad. Bad means good. That kind of deal was going through at that time. And so now I'm on the other side. I don't care what words you want to use. You want to call me a spick today, a wetback today, junkie, addict, cokehead, whatever you want. Those are words that to me, you think you have a weapon, but if I take the bullets out of your gun,
Right.
I don't give a shit whether you have a weapon or not. Your gun's kind of empty. So it's more on me than on them. So if we help people understand, instead of like giving in to everyone that's sensitive and trying to baby-proof the world on words, let's teach people how to not be so offended and so sensitive about words. That way, it doesn't matter who has guns. We just took the bullets out of all those guns.
Right.
And therefore, it doesn't matter that they have guns. Because when I was a kid, they used to say, sticks and stones to break my bones, but words never hurt me. They used to say that to little kids, right? Mm-hmm. Kids that would be bullied, they used to go to them and say, remember, sticks and stones can break bones, but words will never hurt you. But yet, that's exactly where we flip-flop somewhere down the road. And now we're teaching everybody, words are the worst in the world. Words are the most painful. Words are where the real abuse is. So we need to stop using words because words are worse than physical action. What? Don't cheat. Don't baby-proof me. Don't make me more sensitive. I get it. As a person that studies psychology and as a person that does therapy for people and as a person in private practice for all these years, I get it. But I don't want to baby-proof the world. I want to make us stronger, not weaker.
Exactly.
So anyway, Trinity, you had your finger on your nose. Go ahead, man, because you're antsy pants over there. It's like you're like doing the pee-pee dance to talk.
There's a few things that popped in my head, and while we were listening to everybody talk,
he was shifting. Did you see him over there, Grasshopper?
Mm-hmm. I'm a big dude, man. I move a lot.
That was like pee-pee dance moving.
Yeah, right. Well, I guess my philosophy is. Once again, we're talking about the stigma, right?
Right.
And so, being the fact that I wasn't in recovery, I have a lot of friends who aren't in recovery who aren't connected as well.
Right.
And so I hear a lot of what they're saying. Mm-hmm. And so I think one of the biggest problems is the fact that they can't relate.
Right.
Right? Because, I can drink. How come you can't? Just quit.
Right.
And so I think the labels, while they might not be able to be used towards you as a weapon and make you feel bad,
right,
I think that's a barrier to keep people from relating to you. Because it allows them to dehumanize it. You're no longer a person. You're an addict. You're just one of those guys. And so it makes it to where it's non-relatable. It separates me from you. It's a way to separate you from me by saying, you're an addict and I'm not.
But but again.
So that, to me, I think that keeps the stigma going.
No,
it helps. Anyway.
I do agree that it can keep the stigma going and does keep the stigma going in certain individuals.
Sure.
But I think time is really important here, okay? Because there's a lot of words that we use in minority groups that were once very powerful against us that are no longer as powerful against us.
Right.
There's a lot of words within the gay community that were once very powerful against them that's no longer powerful against them.
Right.
I think if you go historically, we've seen that we're going to just have to allow time to run its course.
Sure.
And if we as people in recovery or addicts or whatever you want to call us, keep just getting healthier and being less sensitive to this, and educate, instead of educating people to talk to us differently, or instead of educating us to use different words, let's just educate the public what the disease really is.
Yes.
Because all this other stuff is just distraction of the reality.
Exactly.
The reality is that we can teach this without having to teach about the words, is what I'm saying.
I agree.
Exactly. I totally agree. I echo that. And the movement is happening right now.
Right.
This movement of awareness and open-mindedness and scientific research.
Right.
And, this is all coming out, and people are being aware, and public changing the way. The people that have struggled with addiction, they're in the limelight, like Robert Downey, talking about it, identifying with alcoholism, calling himself a junkie, calling himself at one point, he's allergic to alcohol and drugs, he breaks out in handcuffs. I love that.
Me too.
He's talking about it, and he's moving mountains because people see him as a hero now. So the more people in the public eye that are openly, talking about this and sharing their experiences, because listen, the bottom line is language does activate these implicit cognitive scripts. It does, but it can change. We can attach new meaning to these words.
Absolutely.
That's the point.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I think that's what I was trying to say in the very beginning as well.
Yeah.
And I think that, matter of fact, our last show, one of the things I was most impressed with. Right. We had some great guests. I mean, we had a billionaire and all that.
Right.
But one of the things I was most impressed with, to be honest with you, is soon to be, hopefully, Commissioner Pete Crotty. Right. He's running for commissioner. He's doing his thing. His brother was the mayor. Right. Very involved in politics, and yet he's very open about his addiction, essentially, and his recovery now. And I think that right there is what's going to go a long way. Right. People like that coming out, being open about it. Look, this is where I was, but this is who I am now. And if he gets elected and commissioner, and he does a great job. That does a huge part in educating people that, hey, these are people, man.
And actually, what we're doing is we're bleeding into another topic, which is anonymity, and that's going to deserve its own show, because I think it's important then to have somebody here that is on the other side, because there's a spiritual principle here that we're tapping into, and I think those that are deep in it. That aren't willing to make some changes, and I respect that. If they're not willing to make those changes, I'm not asking the system that helps so many people get clean change their ways, all their traditions,
their second name.
Yeah, exactly. However, that's a good one. That's a good way to say it. The second A in their name. Right. I'm not asking them to change that. I'm just saying that if we stay in the closet, other people stay in the closet, and some people, when they stay in the closet, they die in that closet.
It kills them. Exactly.
So I'm just saying, some of us have to come out of the closet so that others can live.
Exactly. Silence is lethal. And listen, I respect the anonymity factor for other people. Your stuff's your business, not mine to be talking about. That is what anonymity is all about, and 100%. I understand that, and I respect the crap out of that. Right. But for me, I don't want that, because it's going to save my life to talk about it openly, and it might save somebody else.
Definitely.
So for me personally, I'm going to be open. Yeah.
I think you just said it best right there, Jessica. I mean, and I like the way you say it, and I'm going to steal a little bit of it, because I think that's what's important. I think when they hear anonymity, we're asking them to come out. Well, you don't have to come out of the closet. There's plenty of us that want to. Just don't get mad at us for coming out of the closet. When I started doing this show, that was another big barrier, because they would say, "Oh, radio and film and all. There's a tradition here that supposedly I'm breaking, right?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I'm choosing to do what I need to do for whatever reason I need to do it." And the other thing was, my nickname is the Dope Doctor. So I remember when this show was a television show on Orange TV, and I had this high-profile physician that was supposed to be on the show. She had agreed to come on do the show. I'm promoting her and her business and all that stuff. She calls the general manager of the television station and said, "You know what? I had a second thought about it. I can't go do the show." And he asked her why, and she said because his nickname is the Dope Doctor. And I think that's projecting a negative stigma. And now this is back in 1999.
Wow.
This is, or at least like 2001 maybe. And let me tell you something. That created a barrier and a problem between us for years. I got really upset with her, because I said, what if I didn't own my show? What if I wasn't the executive producer of this show? What if they owned me? And you called the general manager of a station, and they had the power to take me off my show or to do something.
Change your name.
Yeah, what if they had the power to make me change my name?
Right.
You know, luckily, I owned my show. The general manager did not have the power to do that because I was put there by a power greater than that person. And it didn't hurt me at all. However, that person did later apologize to me and say, "I'm really sorry for ever doing that. I did not know that there could be such great implications. I was wrong." She goes, "But the way I first heard it, that's the way I felt." And you know what? That's why I've never changed that name. And that's why I said, you know what? I'm going to stick with it. Because sometimes when I give it, they'll go, "The Dope Doctor? Okay, I guess I can't put that in my phone, or I can't put that." And I go, "Yeah, you can." I said, "It doesn't mean anything."
I love it. It is awesome.
It's catchy, right?
Yeah. I absolutely love it. I also love the Dharma guy. Those are the two of the best handles I've seen in a long time on it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't use this other character that I had, but I might as well say it. The Red Midget is what I used for years as the negative voice in my head. That one, for some little people, get really upset at that one.
They get very angry.
So I can no longer use the Red Midget. And let me tell you something. All little people in the world had nothing to do with you. Had nothing to do with you. It was a 9-year-old kid that started that name and used that name from I was 9 years old when I created that character. And now I can't use it because apparently it's like really bad. It upsets people.
Could be the red little person.
No, I tried the red monkey and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
I tried using anything else, but for me it just doesn't work.
Huh.
So I can't.
I call it I call it the Screaming Demon.
That's a good name.
That's good.
That's a good name.
Yeah,
it rhymes, and I like allegories.
That visceral scream right in the center of your chest, you know, where you just it's like
I can't
feel
even
like
spell
you're either gonna have a
visceral.
heart attack. It's screaming so loud, or you gotta.
It's horrible,
figure out
isn't
a way to, yeah.
You know, I'm so glad that mine now, when it whispers, I know exactly what it sounds like, and I just laugh at it. I laugh that I have these thoughts.
Awesome.
I think it's funny that you can laugh at these thoughts and go like, "Oh my God, I can't believe." And sometimes I'll say it to my wife, "I just thought this," and she'll just look at me and goes, "What? How could you even think that?" I go, "Well, what do you mean? How can I? I don't know. I don't have that answer."
It diffuses the power of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Secrets keep us sick, baby. I don't want that.
Totally.
All right, so the last couple minutes, I think it's real important, Jessica, to kind of give us a little bit more about your direction, where you're going, because it looks like you have a great thing going on social media. So I really wish you lived closer, because I would love to have you in the studio and do some things here.
Oh, I know. At some point.
At some point,
we got to make that happen.
Yeah, when we're on tour in California, at some point, or when you're in Florida, we're going to have to make that one happen.
Right on.
But for now, we're going to have this long-distance relationship. And so in this long-distance relationship, how can we help support you in your mission and what you're doing, by the way?
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, I wrote a memoir called Human on Fire. It's in the process. The manuscript's finished, but it hasn't yet been published. Human on Fire. It's also the name of my website. A little bit of synopsis on the book, and more about me is on the website. But yeah, you know, I work in recovery, and I also have a mobile spray tanning business. The comedy, and that's an outlet for me that keeps me sane, it keeps me healthy, and it keeps me going. And so, of course, I love doing that as a hobby, and I'll just continue doing it, and whatever, you know, wherever it nudges me and takes me is where I'll go, I suppose. But helping other people is like the primary purpose, just kind of being open out there about recovery and being of service, and just sharing my story in hopes that it'll help someone else, you know, feel confident enough to come out and reach out for help or whatever. That's what I'm about. So that's really what I'm doing.
And how can it's humanonfire.com? Is that what it is?
Yeah, humanonfire.com.
Okay, so humanonfire.com, and that is a website, and from there they can purchase your book?
No, not yet. It's not yet published.
Oh, okay.
I'm going the traditional route and getting a literary agent, publisher, and all that. I'm not going to self-publish, so it's not quite ready, but it will be. It will be ready on the site eventually.
And are you still acting?
I can let you guys know. No, actually, I'm not.
That's insane.
Quit. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, when I moved back to LA in 2015 after recovering, I was afraid that I was going to associate drinking, because I mean, when I was in a comedy group, I was drinking like a bottle a day. I never forgot it was uncanny. I was like blacked out doing my lines, you know, on stage, like performing fine. I was on Drake and Josh Totally Drunk on Nickelodeon.
That's what we were just
I mean, I
talking
did
about.
all these shows like under the influence, and so I associated it with, I was just a little scared to go back. But now I'm getting my feet wet. I'm doing it for my Instagram, and it's so fun. I just was really afraid to.
Well, maybe Instagram will start paying you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
I get it. That's why I left LA. I left LA because, like I was telling Trinity, I said it wasn't acting that was hard. It was I thought I would be a bad celebrity. I figured that I was not emotionally ready.
I didn't know that you were here.
Yeah, I was there. I was doing a few things, and I left. I got sober there. I went there when I was 19 years old, right after my 19th birthday, and got clean and sober there in Hollywood.
How amazing is recovery here?
Well, I thought
Mecca.
To me, it was a lot easier than El Paso, Texas, Juarez, Mexico, and Vegas, which is where I was hanging out. But so I'd hang out on the Sunset Strip and go to Vegas anyway. When I was in those early years, and I just blew all my money, and I said, man, this place is way too expensive, and Hollywood seemed kind of easy to kind of make it, because I think there was a lot of people, I think, that were just like, I don't know, they were just like standing still, and I felt like I had a good thing going, but I wasn't emotionally ready, and so I'm glad I left, because I think that if I would have made significant money or significant fame, I'd be dead. I was not ready to mature. I wasn't mature. I was still very volatile to myself and others, and that was not going to work. So that's why I never went back.
You recognize that,
right. But don't worry, because if we ever do a movie through the Surf Monkey Media, you're in it. There's no friggin' doubt. Because now we're back, and we're as far as the media company, we got some things in the pipeline. So we'll see where it goes. But you keep doing what you're doing.
And you guys too. Please keep doing what you're doing, because you're really paving the way, and you're being heard, and I love it. I love what you guys are doing. I just thank you so much.
Right on. Thank you.
Trinity, I know you got some last words to say, so go ahead and tell it. We got a minute left.
Well, I just think that I'm gonna get all Dharma time on everybody here, I guess.
Oh God, now we got 10 seconds then, Trinity.
Right? No, I would say that listening to her story and everybody else and the people I've met, I think that I do believe the stigma is slowly being chipped away.
Right.
And I think that's the positive to take away from all this, is that with people like everybody in this room and on the phone and some of her followers, I do believe that that's going a long way to break the stigma. So I think we're on the right path. We just got to keep going.
Right.
I completely agree.
All right. Any last words, Robbie?
Presented my senior thesis on the disease of addiction on Tuesday at university. So
good luck, man.
Very cool.
Wow.
Good luck.
Good
I love
luck,
it.
dude.
Right
I
on,
love
brother.
it. And of course, Jessica, we'll stay in touch. We're going to stay communicating and find out
do.
where you're
Love you
working in the industry, and maybe we know some people together. So anyway, from all of us here on the Couch Live, thanks to Jessica. Follow her on Instagram, Jessica Landon 12. That's Jessica Landon 12. Go to her website, humanonfire.com. And adios, amigos. It's time for a taco. Goodbye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Get on the couch with the dope doctor. Get on the couch with the dope doctor. Get up on the couch with the dope doctor.
And that was without even a single drop of rum.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
He really grows on you, doesn't he?